You keep choosing the same person in different bodies. They pull you close, then disappear. You feel everything, they feel nothing. And somehow, you always end up back in this exact pattern. Today we're breaking down the 5 reasons why empaths and avoidants can't stop finding each other and what's really happening beneath the surface. Number 1, the familiar pain principle. Your nervous system recognizes emotional unavailability because it feels like home. This isn't romantic. It's your childhood playing on repeat. When you grew up around inconsistent love, distant caregivers, or emotional neglect, your brain wired itself to associate love with chasing, proving, and waiting. The avoidant person triggers something ancient in you, that feeling of almost but not quite, that sensation of being close to someone who's always one foot out the door. Your body reads this as normal, safe even, because the unknown isn't whether they'll leave, it's whether someone will actually stay. And that terrifies you more than you'd like to admit. This is called repetition compulsion. Your mind keeps recreating the original wound, hoping this time you'll fix it. This time you'll be enough to make them stay. But here's what happens instead. You become smaller, quieter, more accommodating. You twist yourself into shapes that don't fit your bones, all to keep someone who was never planning to stay in the first place. The empath feels everything the avoidant won't feel for themselves. You become their emotional translator, their feelings container, their personal therapist, and they let you because it keeps them at a safe distance from their own inner world. You're doing the emotional labor for 2 people while they do the emotional labor for none. Number 2, the intensity mismatch. Empaths live at full volume. Every emotion is turned up. Every connection matters. Every conversation goes deep. Avoidants live behind soundproof glass. They experience emotions, but they've learned to mute them, delay them, rationalize them away. When these 2 people meet, something clicks into place like a lock and key. And that's the problem. The empath finally feels seen by someone who seems calm, stable, and unshaken. The avoidant finally feels safe with someone who won't demand too much too fast. At first, this feels balanced. The empath thinks they've found someone grounded. The avoidant thinks they've found someone who won't suffocate them. But balance isn't the same as compatibility. What looked like groundedness was actually disconnection. What looked like patience was actually fear of intimacy dressed up in independence. The empath starts reaching for more closeness, more communication, more reassurance, and the avoidant starts backing away, feeling trapped, overwhelmed, and misunderstood. This is where the chase begins. The empath interprets the distance as rejection and pushes harder. The avoidant interprets the pursuit as pressure and pulls further away. It becomes a dance where both people are moving, but nobody's actually getting closer. You're both trying to meet your needs, but your needs are opposites. One person needs connection to feel safe. The other needs space to feel safe. And neither one can give the other what they need without betraying themselves. The cruel part is that this dynamic can last for years. The empath keeps hoping that if they love hard enough, the avoidant will open up. The avoidant keeps hoping that if they stay distant enough, the empath will stop asking for more. Both people are waiting for the other to change, and neither one does. Number 3, the validation loop. Here's where it gets twisted. The avoidance distance makes the empath feel special when they finally get attention. Those rare moments of closeness hit different when you've been starving for them. A text back feels like love. A compliment feels like commitment. Basic emotional availability feels like the relationship is finally working. This is called intermittent reinforcement, and it's the same psychological mechanism that makes gambling addictive. You don't get rewarded every time. You get rewarded just enough to keep playing. Just enough to believe that the next time will be different. Just enough to stay. The empath becomes addicted to the highs. Those brief windows when the avoidant lets their guard down and actually shows up. It feels like winning. It feels like proof that you were right about them all along. See, they do care. They just need time. They just need space. They just need you to be patient. But the lows get lower. The silence lasts longer. The excuses pile higher. And still, you stay. Because you've invested too much to walk away now. You've seen what they're capable of when they're open. You know the version of them that exists underneath all that fear. And you believe that if you just love them correctly, that version will become permanent. It won't, because the avoidant isn't withholding love as a test. They're protecting themselves in the only way they know how. Their distance isn't about you, it's about them. But when you're an empath, everything feels personal. Every withdrawal feels like rejection. Every boundary feels like abandonment. Number 4, the responsibility reversal. In the empath-avoidant dynamic, one person becomes responsible for both people's emotional experiences. And it's never the avoidant. The empath takes on the job of managing both people's feelings, both people's needs, both people's healing. You become responsible for their triggers. You become responsible for their comfort. You become responsible for keeping the relationship alive while they get to remain emotionally neutral. This isn't partnership. This is parentification. You're playing the role of the adult while they play the role of the emotionally unavailable child who won't communicate what they need but gets upset when you don't read their mind. The avoidant will say they value independence. What they really value is not having to show up. They'll call you needy for wanting basic communication. They'll call you clingy for expecting emotional presence. They'll frame their emotional unavailability as strength and your emotional availability as weakness. And if you're an empath, you'll believe them. You'll apologize for needing too much. You'll feel guilty for wanting what every human being deserves in a relationship. You'll shrink your needs down to nothing and still somehow feel like you're asking for too much. The dynamic works because the empath keeps adjusting. You lower your expectations. You accept less. You convince yourself that love isn't supposed to feel easy, that relationships take work, that you're being unrealistic. But there's a difference between working on a relationship and working to keep someone interested in you. One is partnership, the other is self-abandonment. Number 5, the unfinished business contract. This is the part nobody talks about. Both the empath and the avoidant are running from the same thing, the fear that they're unlovable. They just run in opposite directions. The empath tries to prove their worth by loving harder. The avoidant tries to prove their worth by needing nobody. Both strategies are survival mechanisms from childhood. Both strategies fail in adult relationships. The empath learned early that love is earned through service, sacrifice, and emotional labor. If you're helpful enough, you become necessary. If you're understanding enough, you become irreplaceable. You learn to make yourself valuable because being yourself wasn't enough. The avoidant learned early that depending on anyone leads to disappointment. People leave. People hurt you. People use your vulnerability against you. So you build walls, keep secrets, and never let anyone close enough to matter. You learn to protect yourself because trusting others wasn't safe. When these two people meet, they're both trying to solve the same equation with different variables. The empath is saying, if I love you enough, you'll prove that I'm worthy of staying for. The avoidant is saying, if I keep my distance, you'll prove that people always leave anyway. Both people are waiting for confirmation of their deepest fear. And in this dynamic, both people usually get it. The empath eventually burns out from giving everything and receiving crumbs. They leave, exhausted and heartbroken, convinced that they loved someone who couldn't love them back. The avoidant watches them go, feels a brief moment of panic, then returns to their comfort zone of emotional isolation. Both people walk away, thinking they were right all along. But here's the truth that nobody wants to hear. This pattern will repeat until you heal the original wound. You can't love someone emotionally. You can't earn your way into being chosen. You can't sacrifice yourself into mattering. The work isn't figuring out how to make the avoidant stay. The work is figuring out why you keep choosing people who leave. The work is asking yourself what you're afraid will happen if someone actually shows up consistently. The work is learning that your worth isn't determined by how much emotional neglect you can tolerate. Breaking this cycle means getting comfortable with being alone. It means learning that someone's inability to love you correctly says nothing about your value. It means walking away from potential and choosing people based on reality. It means understanding that real love doesn't require you to beg for basic respect. You're not broken for being an empath. You're not too much for wanting connection. But you are responsible for recognizing the pattern and choosing differently. You are responsible for understanding that not every connection is meant to become a relationship. You are responsible for protecting your energy the same way you protect everyone else's. The right person won't make you feel like you're too much or not enough. The right person won't need you to dim your light so they feel comfortable. The right person won't confuse you about where you stand. And the right person won't require you to abandon yourself to keep them around. If this video hit home, please subscribe to our channel and like this video. Drop a comment telling me which number resonated most with you. Was it number 1, 3, or 5? Let's talk about it. And if you've broken this pattern, tell us how you did it. Your story might be exactly what someone else needs to hear today.